Jets. They couldn't quite do it. Michael Shore here, TYT Sports, with Dan Keston, the Uber guy here. Not the guy who deals with transportation, but the guy who oversees TYT Sports. Dan, you're a Jets fan. What happened? They came so close last night.
Well, first of all, thank you for the wonderful intro. But on top of that, this was a typical Jets performance. If you've been a Jets fan for a long time, you know this is what you can expect out of the Jets.
Well, except, you don't have to be a Jets fan for a long time to know that they don't even stay in games like this very often. They're 1-6 now. They were 1-5, obviously, going into this game. The Patriots and the Jets play each other kind of tight. They've been in the same division since like 1844. And they, but a game like that, when they come so close, I think Jet fans, and you're one, as we mentioned, you kind of get used to that being your victory, don't you?
Well, yeah, and then you get used to that being your victory, and you also get used to trying to figure out how they're going to lose this time around.
So reconstruct what happened.
Okay.
How did they get so close, and how did they not win?
All right, so first let's start by saying the Jets had the ball literally for more than 2 times the amount of time that the Patriots had it.
Yeah.
Like, we have a stat, and we can put it up, and you'll see that the Jets had the ball for over 40 minutes of the game, and the Patriots had it for just over 19. I mean, that's insane.
And that's a formula in the National Football League almost always. They keep those stats, too. But time of possession, so important. Jets should have won by the book there.
So the first 2 drives, they drove right down the field. They had it. Holding penalties, both of those drives, field goal, no touchdown.
Yeah.
So first half, scored 4 times, all field goals, couldn't get in the end zone. Now, this is not that big of a surprise because Geno Smith has been horrible in the red zone all season.
Yeah, and Geno Smith, I mean, let's say that he had a flawless game in that, not that he played perfectly, but he didn't turn the ball over. There were 0 interceptions. He threw for a touchdown. He buys some time of not having to answer critics, I don't think, for a week going into the Bills game. Just play the Bills this Sunday. So I think that helps the team as a whole to see Geno, what he could do against the cream of their division.
Agree. Very, very likely Geno's best game of the season.
Yeah, okay. So what happened? Like Shane Vereen, why is it when they'll lose Stephen Ridley, right? And you think, oh, good. Well, they didn't have much of a running game. Belichick doesn't use the run in their system very often, but when he does, he uses it, on third down situations. Goal line situations. Shane Vereen, he was all over the place.
He was all over the place. And he caught that big first quarter touchdown when they really just lost him. I don't know what they were doing, but they lost him. They didn't know where he was, and they lost him. But what really killed him was that 3 points at the end of the first half. And, that's a Jets staple, is not playing defense at the end of the half and letting the other team back into the game. That happened in the Green Bay game in the second game of the year, which they clearly should have won. I think they let him score 10 points in the last couple minutes. Geno threw an interception, then they came back down. They had a field goal, then they had a touchdown. So, and if you look, that's probably what ended up killing him in this game.
Well, walk me through the end of this game quickly.
Okay, so the end of this game, they're down by 8. They need a touchdown. Geno Smith marches them all the way down the field, which is fantastic. And then they need 2 points for the win.
Right.
Now, this is why, if Rex Ryan gets fired, my opinion is he should get fired for this. Because
So all the other things that Rex Ryan has done over a career of being the Jets football coach, head coach, you think?
I'm willing to let those slide.
Okay.
Except for this one thing, which is really my biggest pet peeve. Chris Ivory's been running the ball against the Patriots all night, and they cannot stop him. They cannot stop him. And Geno Smith has been proven to be one of the worst red zone quarterbacks in the league. All night you've been getting field goals instead of touchdowns. And you have 1 play to tie the game. Why do you not just give the ball to Chris Ivory? I don't understand that coaching maneuver.
Right. Well, Rex always tries different things. So I think in one sense you're relieved that he didn't bring Michael Vick in to do that drive, just to do something goofy and have him run the ball and switch up what the defense might have been. But yeah, I know there's a conservatism that doesn't go hand in hand with winning a game at the end of the game, which is what a lot of coaches
think.
He
did it in the Chicago game a couple of weeks ago on Monday night. They were down by 8. They needed a touchdown. Geno drove them to the 6. And they had 4 plays, all passing plays, no runs.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't get it. From my perspective, it's weird. So anyways, they obviously don't make it. But they get the ball back, and they come marching all the way down the field, which you knew they weren't going to make the field goal because they're the Jets. But let's just forget for a moment, because it did happen last year where a freak play, they ended up winning, so you thought maybe.
You thought maybe is kind of the theme of being a Jets fan.
Yeah,
they were
correct.
1-0 this season. You thought maybe.
Yeah.
And in every game, you think maybe for a little while.
And Nick Folk can make that field goal. I
Yeah.
mean, the guy's got a leg.
It's a 58-yarder. It's a long kick.
But he can make that.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely. But of course, it got blocked. Now, there's a lot of controversy around a specific play in this game, and I don't know if you saw this, but basically, as the kick is about to go off, Dante Hightower is standing in front of the snapper, and in the league, you're not allowed to do that. If that happens, it's actually a penalty, and that would move the Jets up. Probably would have had a much better chance to make the field goal. And if you put it up, we have a picture of that, where basically you can see the official moving Dante Hightower out of the way at the last second, so they're not going to get a penalty. And this is causing a lot of controversy today, which is...
It seems legitimate. I mean,
Yeah.
it's legitimate controversy. That should cause controversy. The refereeing in the NFL this year, home or not, I'm a 49ers fan. I think they've gotten jobbed a lot, but I know that every team they've played has also, because I've seen calls that the Niners have got where I think, well, that was a gift. The refereeing has been terrible, and that is not even a bad call. That's illegal. You can't do that. I mean, that's a penalty, and he's saying, whoa, if you stand here, you're going to get a penalty. You might as well move, son.
Right, but the NFL, of course, came out and said, well,
Right, constant equivocation.
Yeah.
So what happens now? They have, this was a Jets victory, right? I mean, this is a win in the Jets book, even though it's not in the eyes of everyone else.
I don't know if you can say that. I think it's a disappointment for Jet fans where they say, hey, you got close and it's expected. But I don't think, as a Jet fan at least, I don't look at that as a win.
Yeah.
I don't,
Good. I'm glad to hear it.
I think it's not like the Jets are such a doormat where even when you don't win, it's like the Clippers used to be in basketball. It's just not the same thing. It's more of like, this is more of the same.
Right.
But the Jets fans, they expect to win, and they feel like this. Everyone in New York expects to win, and that's why if you're 1-6 and you're part of the New York media, you're probably not going to be around too long.
Right. He just said it, folks. Jets fans expect to win.
We do. We do. Now let's take you out with this picture of Rex Ryan after the game, and that's kind of how the rest of the Jets fans feel.
Right, giving you some Jim Caldwell eyes there. Look at that. How is this happening? And, they got jobbed by a kick, or they were the beneficiaries of a kick, and this is what happened this year instead of last year. Dan Keston, your Jets fan, thanks so much for that.